Greetings and salutations, Geo-nerds. T-Rocks here. This week we'll look at the very origins of Brisbane's rocks, why they are where they are, and why they are what they are. Let's rock. Hey Geo-nerds, we'll start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
Okay, about 370 to 400 million years ago. That should do it.
Actually, I have no concept of time.
There was a large and quite active volcanic mountain range inland from this, probably from the subduction of an oceanic plate diving under the continent, and doing what subducting oceanic plates do, make a big volcanic mess. These mountains weathered down to the sea, as all mountains do eventually. The silt, sand and mud accumulated on the seabed in the deep ocean, just off the then continental shelf. As these sediments were in the deep ocean, 1,000 metres or more deep, or so it's reckoned, and at nearly 400 million years ago, there was nothing much to disturb these sediments. So they did what undisturbed sediments do: accumulated. Slowly, as the oceanic plate jammed.
It appears to be jammed
Into the continental crust, these sediments were compressed and folded and folded and folded again. One could say they were acted on by elementary forces.
As endless eons wheeled and passed, time and the pure essences of heaven, the moisture of the earth, the powers of the sun and the moon, all worked upon a certain rock, old as creation.
In these times, on land at least, there were some woody tree ferns, some moss, and a few amphibians, and that's about it. Most of the biomass was microscopic, including a sub-millimetre class of creature called radiolarians. They sound like something from Doctor Who, but these little guys are very important to Brisbane's rock composition. Hey, just a quick drop in. T-Rocks will explain how we're going to treat complex Latin and Geo-nerd words when we come across them. I will stop and explain it to you. I will try not to use obscure scientific words unless they're really unavoidable and are the best choice to tell the story. But you can expect some chubby moments. Back to the show. Okay, radiolarian. From the Latin, radius plus ole plus aria plus ang. Radius because they're spherical in shape, sort of. Olarian meaning of the air. Yeah, I know. What were they smoking? Radiolarians are exclusively open ocean silica secreting zooplankton. These little guys are so important to determining the age of rocks that we'll probably do an entire video on them at some time in the future. When these little guys die, they fall to the bottom in large numbers, and their remains, being silica, form what is called radiolarian sludge, basically biosourced silica gel. And they've been around for a long time, nearly 4 billion years, and they're still around today. All of this sediment built up over nearly 100 million years and ended up thousands of metres thick. Then, about 350 million years ago, more subduction took off and started to compress and fold these sediments and partially changed the silt and mud into the shales we see today all over the region. The main features are the Narran-Lee fernvale beds and the Bunya phyllite. And up Launton and Petrie Way, there's the Greensburg greenstone and Currawamba beds. The Narran-Lee fernvale beds are all over parts of Brisbane and extend way to the west. They consist of the following rock types: argillite, greywacke, quartzite, jasper and greenstone, and quartz. Lots of quartz, mainly from the geothermal fluids rich in silica from the good old radiolarian sludge. The Bunya phyllite is all over Brisbane. It has that layered look. It's quite soft, and you can often break it off with just your fingers or a small knife. It's full of mica, or silica. It shines and sparkles in sunlight, Sometimes you can even find small sheets of mica in it as well. And this stuff is full of quartz veins. Depending on where you are, it can be up to 50% quartz. The Currawamba beds are also a distinct formation, but consists mainly of the same rocks as the previously mentioned formations. But wait, there's more! The Roxburgh Greenstone is a distinct formation and consists of mainly the same rocks as previously mentioned, with the addition of some weathered basaltic volcanics from more recent volcanics in the area. These weathered basalts form a very fine-grained greenstone, and it's great for road metal, and there are some big quarries on this formation, just north of the Petrie Dam. Into these very old formations, there are more recent volcanic intrusions, from around 240 to 210 million years ago. Some of these were basaltic and made it to the surface, like the Aspley volcanics and the Redland Bay volcanics, and probably even the Redcliffe red soils. Andesitic eruptions like Jolie's Lookout, Mount Crosby, and rhyolitic structures like Point Lookout, Cape Morton, and even the Brookville volcanics. We also have the granitic intrusions that never made it to the surface, like the Enogra granites, Capera, and Sanford granodiorite. These intruded into the Bunyiphiolite formation, and the contact zones and hornfells were created in intense heat and pressure and cooked or metamorphized the shale into good old Brisbane schist.
I said schist. No smirking in the back row. There's always one, isn't there?
And then there's the Brisbane welded tuff, or tuff. I call it tuff, or welded inbranite. This stuff is 266 million years old and is 100 metres thick in places, and no one knows exactly where it came from. But I know. And then you have more recent volcanics in the south, like Mount Gravatt, Mount Cotton, and more. We have quite a journey coming up. Next week, we'll have a look at the original occupants of our region and the history of settlement and the mapping of the geographical features and the mineralogy, and how it's affected the settlement of Moreton Bay and the founding of the town of Brisbane. It'll be wild, so keep safe. And as always, may the quartz be with you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, and hey, you made it this far, please help us to poke the algorithm and smash that like button like it's Space 1999. And if you want to see more, subscribe and share this with, say, 1,000 of your closest friends. And let's see just how far that little algorithm can go before its CPU explodes. Cop you later.